Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, has a Disney Plus show coming out soon. Recently, Victoria Alonso assured fans that it would release in 2021, but at this point, it's beyond safe to assume that it will release in 2022. And not too long ago, there were rumors going around that Miss Marvel's powers would be changed, and it seems like this is true due to a recent merchandise reveal. So what is the change and what does it mean? Miss Marvel's powers grant her the ability to stretch her limbs in a similar manner to Mr. Fantastic. It was assumed ever since the show was announced that Kamala Khan would have those powers, and people wondered how the stretching would look. But then it was reported that Miss Marvel's powers would be changed in the MCU. It seemed that MCU Kamala would be more similar to Green Lantern, where her bracelet would grant her the ability to shape energy. It was an interesting decision, but it was just a rumor. Until a life-sized cardboard cutout of Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan was revealed that had her left hand encased in purple energy. That pretty much confirmed the power change. So it seems that instead of stretching, Miss Marvel will be able to make a giant hand out of energy that goes over her actual hand. Something like that. We can only guess at this point because we have no footage of the show. And if the power truly does come from her bracelet, it's safe to assume that there will be a point in the show when she loses it and is depowered. Hey, maybe it even breaks, and then that sets her up to shrink and grow her normal comic-accurate way in the future. But why did Marvel do this? Why did they feel the need to change this character's power set instead of keeping it the same? The simplest answer is to assume that Marvel wants to have a differentiation between Miss Marvel and Mr. Fantastic. Both of them are characters with stretching powers, and they're bound to fight alongside each other at some point in the MCU. Maybe Marvel wants to keep the two of them separate and different. Also, we can assume that it's much easier to track shapes of energy around the screen than it is to make convincing stretching powers. It's not impossible, but it's probably much more difficult to make them look good. And thirdly, the MCU seems to be changing Kamala Khan's origin story as well. They aren't completely changing the character, as her principal traits will remain intact. Mainly the ones about her being a huge fan of Captain Marvel. But if they're changing her powers to come from an artificial source, then they definitely aren't keeping her Inhuman origin story. In the comics, Kamala Khan is hit with the Terrigen Mist and becomes an Inhuman. Another idea has to do with the Inhuman show. The Inhuman show is not well received at all and probably isn't even canon. But Marvel might be trying to play it super safe and not bring the idea of Inhumans into play because the audience's perception of the Inhumans is not a good one. Unless, of course, you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In which case, the Inhumans are amazing. But nonetheless, Kevin Feige and everyone else at Marvel Studios might be trying to wait a while to bring the Inhumans so that they can wait for audiences to move on from the current iterations of those characters. We likely will never know the exact reason the MCU is changing Miss Marvel's powers, but these are the best reasons we could think of at the moment. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to see more like it.